Hello, my name is Scott and I am an expert reviewer for RunRepeat.com, and today I'm reviewing the Columbia Montrail FKT shoe. This is a trail runner offered by Columbia. So the first thing that you notice about these shoes after you get past the screaming orange color that I got was they're very robust. And I mean that both as far as the build quality. It seems like very good build quality. They're built to last, but they're also stiff. The midsole is quite stiff in a lot of places. It does have some ample bend right there. The heel cup is stiff. Even this material up here that covers up the toe, that is stiff too. And that's, I think, a pretty good thing in a trail shoe. It's good to have some variability in that and some options. So this is a more stiff option if you're going for that. It offers a lot of protection to the foot, and it will really egg you on for those longer mile days. You won't have a ton of ground feel, but you'll also be protected from rocks because this shoe has a rock plate in the actual midsole section, and so it distributes the weight quite well if you step onto a sharp rock or anything like that. So your feet aren't gonna feel quite as fatigued after being in these shoes for a while. Moving on to the upper, it has the standard sock-like attachment on the top where the tongue attaches all the way down to the midsole, and I like that a lot. This one isn't done quite as well as I would hope it would be. For whatever reason, they just made the sock-like attachment slightly stretchier material because it's a little hard to get your foot in. You have to completely unlace it and you really have to crank up on it to get that foot in. Not a huge deal, it's just I find that some shoes do that a little bit better. The meshing, I love the meshing, it's very well done. It's pretty thick, but your foot can still breathe. Most of the running that I've done so far has been in the winter, but my feet sweat constantly, no matter what the temperature is outside. So my feet were fine in them. They're not gonna offer you too much protection if it's wet outside. If it's wet outside and you're running, then your feet are gonna be wet regardless of what you're wearing. So not that big of a deal. The lacing system on these is fantastic. I love it. That is by far the best part of these shoes. And the lacing is typically something of an afterthought, or not, maybe not quite an afterthought, but it's not something that I feel like is thoughtfully designed in other shoes as it is in this shoe. These laces are slightly stretchy, and the eyelets in this upper, they are this like felt material. It almost looks like a suede leather. It looks super durable. It allows the laces to slide through really easily, so that you can tighten these shoes and the laces will immediately conform to however your foot actually is sitting in the shoe. So you can really crank down on those laces and it'll immediately redistribute the weight, and your foot will feel fine. It won't feel trapped or confined. It'll just feel well supported by the shoe. So if you're running on fast trails and you're taking tight turns, you need that security of the shoe staying under your foot, then you can tighten down those laces and your foot feels fine. If you're at a more relaxed pace, then you can loosen up the laces a little bit and your foot is still gonna feel just fine. On to the midsole. The midsole from Columbia is a 3-layer midsole. It has, on their website at least, says it is a softer, spongier foam material, then a rock plate, and then a stiffer material for responsiveness. How does it feel when you're actually out on the trail? I don't notice the 3 layers. I would say that these shoes are a little bit stiffer, a little less springy than pretty much most other shoes that I've run in. They're definitely not as springy as a road shoe or cushioned as a road shoe. Pretty much any road shoe that I've run in aside from a racing flat. And that's actually kind of what they feel like, almost, except they have a fairly high 8mm heel toe drop. But they almost feel like a racing flat as far as that, like the sponginess and the responsiveness of them, which is decent on the trails, not great if you're taking these on the road. And I did do a fair amount of road running in these just to get some miles in and whatnot. They didn't do quite as well there. There are other cushioning systems in trail shoes that I like more, but this one is fine. Now on to something that I really disliked about these shoes, and that is the insole. And the first thing that you'll notice about the insole is that it is not in the shoe. In fact, I have a different insole in the shoe. This is something that I bought a little while back. I don't particularly love these insoles either, but they are a lot better than the ones that came with the shoe. I've worn a lot of different shoes, and for whatever reason, these insoles were just awful on my feet. This black material right here is slightly stiffer than the orange foam material. For whatever reason, right here where it meets, it just gave, that's like at the bottom of the ball of my big toe, it just gave my feet huge blisters that were very painful right there on both of them. And even after, I would let them heal, and then I'd put on some thick wool socks and I'd run in them just to see maybe they just have to be broken in, maybe it's just a temporary thing. Nope, I put about 20 annoying miles with these insoles in. I said, I've had it, I've had enough. I scrounged up these insoles, put them in there, and the shoes were fine after that. How's the grip on these shoes? The outsole has a fairly symmetric pattern of these individual small lugs. The lugs aren't massive, but they're not small either. You might notice them a little bit as you're running on the roads. On the trails, they grip fine. They're pretty good, I would say. It's pretty much the grip that you would expect and desire from a trail shoe. How these shoes perform? I think that trail shoes should be able to excel in both trail running and hiking. A lot of people, myself included, like to use trail shoes for backpacking and hikes and all that stuff. And it's something that I really like the trend's going towards, is these lightweight hikers, these lightweight trail shoes rather than these thick, heavy boots. It's something that I much prefer, at least. And I would say that the shoe does both of those reasonably well. It does exactly what you'd expect as a running companion, as a running shoe. It's responsive, it's relatively lightweight, and it's durable. And then as a trail hiker, it's still fairly comfortable on your foot, it's durable, and it feels fine to walk in. The main thing out of both of those you'll notice is the durability. That is a huge desire if you're doing something long and on the trails, or you just want good value out of your shoes. And so I think that's probably the other place where these shoes excel. I put about 70 miles on these shoes, and other than the dirt on the outside, there's almost no signs of wear. So it's my overall take on these shoes. I like these shoes. I think they're built pretty well, but I don't love them. When I wake up in the morning about to go on a run, even if it's a trail run or something like that, and I'm figuring out which pair of shoes I'm gonna wear, I have a bunch of different running shoes, and I cycle through a lot of them. These are often at the bottom of my list as far as shoes that I am looking forward to lacing up and taking out on that run. For whatever reason, I just don't love them. They do a lot of things well, but they don't really seem to do anything great. If you like Columbia shoes, then I would say these are very good shoes for you, but they just aren't the shoes for me. Would I recommend them to a friend? I probably would not, and I have not at this point. Typically, when I get a new pair of shoes and I like them, I tell all my running friends about them. I haven't told a single person anything good or bad about these shoes. So they are middle of the road shoes for me. Anyways, thank you very much for watching my review of the Columbia Montrail FKT shoe, and I wish you many happy miles in your future.